Hi everybody, this is Oksana. Today we're going to be making this fun little pendant that uses a copper washer, some wire, and then it has two cute little charms. It has a little flower and a leaf, but feel free to use different little charms that you might already have in your collection. Like this could be a little butterfly here instead of a flower, so you don't have to go out and buy all different little things. You can even just dangle a plain little bead, and instead of a flower it could also just be a bead, like a gemstone bead. So there's going to be lots of different things that you can do with this, but the basis of it is that it's a copper washer with some additional little things added for fun. So let's go ahead and get started making this pendant. The first thing we're going to do is grab a copper washer. Mine come in this little kit that I found on eBay. Here's what they look like. I grabbed this one here. It's 18 millimeters, and the reason I grabbed this one is because this is the little plastic flower that I have that I'm going to be using, and it fits in the copper washer without falling through. I'm also going to be using this little leaf. I found them both on Etsy. They are just plastic. If you search for plastic flower beads or plastic leaf beads or acrylic sometimes instead of plastic, they will say, you should find a large assortment of all different ones on there. What I'm gonna do with the copper washer is I'm gonna hammer it for texture. This is something that's optional. You don't have to do it. But if you have an iron block to hammer on, and then you have a hammer like this, it's a chasing hammer, and it has this rounded side. This is the side we are gonna use, so you just wanna do it on the ground, but I'm just holding it here in front of the camera, and you just hit it with this rounded side. So what starts to happen is it's starting to add a texture. So you just want to do that all over. I'm going to finish off camera, but you just want to do that texture all over. Next, I cut myself a piece of 20 gauge round copper wire. It's 11 inches long. This is my spool of wire here. It's from riogrande.com. And my wire cutters are from Lindstrom. I'm also going to be using regular pliers as well as round nose pliers, and both of mine are from Lindstrom. The regular pliers are, I never know what side has the number, RX 7890, and the round ones are 7590. So the first thing we're gonna do with our piece of wire is we're gonna fold it in half, and we are gonna kind of make a little loop like this, and then we're gonna hold that loop with our pliers. We're gonna take the wire ends and we are just gonna bring them forward and also crisscross them because they were crisscrossing before. All right, so that's what it looks like. So then we're gonna take our washer, we're gonna put those wire ends through the washer. Basically the point of this is to make a little loop for the bail. So now we're folding these wires. You can use your pliers to help you as well. Kind of just fold them up, press them down, and we are going to wrap them. So keep bending it around your washer and bring it through the middle again. Okay, just use your pliers to help you because this is a thicker wire, so it doesn't move as easily. So this one is wrapped around, and now we're just gonna do the one on the other side. Just guiding it through with my pliers, pressing down on that. And here it is. Now we're just gonna do decorative things. So this part can be different for everybody, but you basically can make little swirls like this, or you can just do a curved line like this. It doesn't have to be a swirl. It also doesn't have to be symmetrical and match. So on this side, I'm just gonna do like a little curvature like this. Then I'm gonna bring it through and do another little curve like that. And then here I'm gonna do a little swirl. We're just working our wires around the perimeter of the copper washer. So you can do it in any way that you want. All right, so there's our little swirl, and now I'm going to kind of just do a little curve. Actually here I think I'll make a swirl. So here's how it's looking. I'm just trying to get the wire all the way around the copper washer. And once you're starting to get to the bottom here, that means that one of these wires we need to finish up and the other wire is gonna be for the leaf. So I'm gonna take this wire and wrap it around. And this is gonna be the wire that I finish up, I think. And this is going to be the wire for the leaf. It doesn't matter which is which. I just kind of randomly did that. So first I'm wrapping it around to stop it from moving, because right now it's just a little curve. So if you pull on it, it like moves around. Oops. It's not going through the middle of the washer. It was catching on the other wire there. So I'm just gonna fix that, and there we go. All right, so what I'm gonna do, for the leaf is I want the leaf to be kind of on the center bottom here. So I'm gonna take this wire and I'm gonna put a little bend in it like this, but the bend is going to be not up against the washer. It's going to be a little bit away from the washer. So there's this little gap. So that way when I take my leaf now, it's just like a little bead with a hole, and I slide it on. It kind of dangles like this. All right, so first let's finish off this other wire so it's not in our way. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna trim it, but leave like the tiniest little end. There, you can kind of see that little end there. And I'm going to kind of squish that end a little bit with my pliers to make it flat, because then I'm gonna kind of push it down on this edge, and what's gonna happen if you squished it and it's nice and flat is it's gonna just be hidden here on the edge and you're not gonna feel it. So you just want to press it really well, kind of into that edge, smushing it in there. So you shouldn't be able to feel it. It shouldn't be sharp or sticking up. So that's how we finished off our end, and now we just have to attach this leaf here. So to attach it, I'm gonna now bring this wire through the middle of my washer, because I need to wrap it around. Right now it's not wrapped around, so it's like moving. And I'm gonna bring it down this way. Let's see if that's still nice and centered. Good. Now that it's been, wrapped around, it has a nice secure, like it's not going anywhere there. And I'm gonna take this little end, I'm gonna kind of just smush it with my pliers And then I'm gonna press that down and hide it on this edge here. It needs to be short. If it's too long, it'll poke through and you'll see it from the front of the pendant. It'll be sticking out the front, and you don't want that. You want it to be nice and short so it gets kind of hidden here on the very edge. There we go. Now it's nice and smushed, can't feel it from any side, and all we have to do now is add our little flower. Feel free to kind of mess around with this. Mine got a little bit bent out of shape, so I'm going to fix that a little bit. There we go. Now I'm gonna grab myself a piece of half round wire. This is 24 gauge, half round. Feel free to use round if you don't have half round. If you are gonna use round, use 26 gauge. That would be a good equivalent. This is basically just a thin wire for attaching our flower, and I decided to switch to this other flower here. It just kind of worked better when I looked at it next to my washer in terms of size. After I, added all those wires to the washer, I think this looked better. So this is just a tiny little crystal glass bead here. It's 2 millimeters. I'm sliding it onto the half round wire, and I'm folding the half round wire in half like this. And I'm just kind of smushing it around like this, so that the bead is kind of nice and secure on there. And then I'm putting both of the wire ends through my flower, and this is basically a way to put a wire through the flower without it, falling all the way through. Now, if you're using round wire, it doesn't really matter, but with half round, you want the flat side facing you. So that's the way you want to separate these. So this is the rounded side of the wire that you see here on the back, and this is the flat side of the wire that you see here on the front. So now we just have to attach it. So after looking at this, yours might be different, but I think for me a good area to attach would be to put one of these wires under this here, and then another wire under this loop here. There's just a lot of space there. It's a little bit raised, and also they are on opposite ends from each other so that it'll kind of center the flower like this. So you just want to put the flower where you want it and just kind of press down and hold it for a minute there. We're going to lock it in place by wrapping the wire around this. So just do one wrap on one side, and now we're going to go to the other side. We're going to do one wrap on the other side as well, and that'll stop it from moving side to side, and then we can do more wraps. So let me just try to get that through there. All right, pull that tight. Pull this one. Okay, so now the flower is staying put. It's a little bit wobbly. It can move up and down. You can see this wire is moving up and down as well with it. So I'm just going to keep wrapping it around. Get it nice and tight there. You can see the little wraps forming. You definitely want to do this at least maybe 5 times, maybe more. Just see how stable it's feeling. It might vary depending on your flower, and also if you're using round wire, So before I trim that, I'm going to do this side as well. Just in case I need more of that wire, I'm going to leave it for now. So we wrap that a bunch of times too. So the flower kind of will jiggle a little bit on the wire, as you can see, but it shouldn't like drastically move back and forth if you've made your wire tight. It should stay put. Let me kind of fold these in the direction that they're meant to be going, and then I'm going to trim and press down on that little wire end to get that out of the way. So trimming these, but leaving a little wire end. And then what I'm going to do with that little wire end is I'm just going to curve it in the direction, like if I were to keep wrapping, this is the direction that it would be going in. And I'm just going to press it down in there so the wire end is hidden away. And I'm going to do that here as well. Just press down on that. All right, so here's our little floral leaf pendant. So all we need now is a bail. So now I'm grabbing myself one piece of that 20 gauge round wire we were using earlier, and I'm gonna fold it in half. I know it's impossible to have it be perfect, so that's fine. We're gonna even out those ends and make it equal here after we finish folding it. So I'm just gonna keep kind of smushing this slowly and carefully with my pliers. And then once you've done that, it has been folded in half, and we can just trim these top little ends here so that it's equal and even. One of them was just a smidge taller than the other. And now I'm using bail making pliers. You can use round nose pliers as well. They're a little bit more difficult for this part, but you can use them. So I'm using the second size here, and I'm bending around to make a round shape like this. And now with the smallest size, I'm grabbing here like this, and I'm curving in the opposite direction here. Oops, they got a little bit separated there. And then just don't close those loops up all the way, because what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our pendant, have the back of it facing you, and slide that little loop on there. And after you do that, you can close up the loops. So it's easiest for me to just do one wire at a time. So I did that wire on that end. Now I'm gonna come to the other side and do the other wire. And now the loop has been closed up. And if there's like a little gap here, you can also press down and close that up. And here is our finished pendant. It kind of dangles on that little bail, and as I said in the beginning, feel free to mix and match different little beads and charms you might have. This could be cute with a little butterfly, or the butterfly could be dangling here. You can even put just a little crystal bead, like one of those little teardrop ones that could dangle on the bottom here as well. Lots of different combinations with things that you might already have in your collection. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.